Today I am joined by Jennifer Bennett, who is the principal at Lakers Online, and Daniel Spitzley, who is the principal at Doherty Elementary here in the West Bloomfield School District. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, everybody.
Great to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Excited to talk to you this morning.
So before we talk about kindergarten roundup, as a number of cases of COVID are rising in the area, could you guys just talk a little bit about how COVID is impacting both of your schools? Obviously, Jennifer, you are the principal for Lakers Online, so your day-to-day might look a little bit different than Daniel's, but if you guys just wanted to give us a little bit about how COVID is impacting schooling for those elementary school kids right now.
I'll speak to Doherty first, obviously. Being in person, I guess your question with the impact on how things are going right now. If you are a student in the building, the day-to-day isn't much different than how we started the year. We have students that are obviously wearing masks as we are in the building. We have a number of COVID protocols for spacing during our lunchtime. Also, if a student were to have a snack time, teachers are using wider spaces before it got literally cold outside, spending time outside. So from a student's perspective, their day-to-day hasn't changed. As the cases continue to rise, we have our office staff as well as the community as a whole. We just ask to be very vigilant in reporting of a lot of those things so that we can do our due diligence with contact tracing just to make sure that we're keeping everybody as safe as possible. So from a student standpoint, they're still masked, learning in class all day long. I would say our staff and our community, we've asked to be a little more vigilant in reporting. That way we're keeping everybody as safe as we can.
I would just say with Lakers Online, although our students are not in person, we still have families that are suffering from COVID and still need some extra support. So as families share out with us that they have, COVID, since our model is online and is live so we call it live or synchronous learning as well as asynchronous or kind of offline learning, families do have some flexibility to use our online management system. So students are able to get caught up and have, we offer office hours. So we are, continuing our instructional model, but of course we are seeing that, affecting our students as well.
And then for both of you, we can start talking about kindergarten roundup. Obviously, parents are looking for a place for their students to get a all-around education, whether that is in person, online with COVID, making sure that their kindergartners are able to socialize safely this year. So Daniel, I don't know if you wanted to start off talking about kindergarten roundup, and then Jennifer, you can follow up on that.
Absolutely. So I guess the details, Thursday, January 20th at 7 o'clock, we'll host a webinar. And within that webinar will be a host of West Bloomfield staff and personnel to address any questions and concerns anybody does have. We'll start with kind of what does it look like? What does a COVID safe, friendly kindergarten classroom look like? We'll highlight a little bit of some of the services. We'll talk about our K+ program. We also will speak to some of the other outside services. We also will have representation from transportation, from after school and before school care. So we try to bring in all sorts of different angles to address any questions that might have, and also to give kind of a look inside the lens of what it'd be like to be a kindergarten at Doherty, at Roosevelt, at Lakers Online, or at Gretschko for the day, to give parents a good idea of what their students may be coming into.
Yeah, I would just echo that. And then I know I remember when I sent my kindergartner off to school, we try to give parents as much information as possible so they kind of know what those first days look like, some things they can do at home before to prepare their child, like, practicing zipping up coats and being responsible for their things and little, life skills. So we'll give some of those hints and tricks and some resources in our community, like our West Bloomfield Library as well. So there's lots of great community resources that, we are connected to. So, and as online, we'll share kind of the difference, but, with online school, we really do partner with our parents, especially at the young ages. A lot of our kindergarten families, have a caretaker with the student throughout the day, supporting them, and so that they're successful, just like you would in school, being there next to them to support them.
And then Jennifer, we can start out with you for this question. Looking at sending your kindergartner to school, it's a very big decision for a parent or guardian, especially now during COVID with the uncertainty during schooling, and maybe those children maybe have not gotten some socialization skills. So do you have any advice for parents that are looking at schools for their kindergartner for next year that you would share maybe during this kindergarten roundup?
Yes, I would say that, a part of kindergarten, a big part of kindergarten is, that social interaction. So, families have that opportunity to choose what's best for them with an in-school or an online option. A lot of the learning online looks very similar we're singing and we're learning all of the same curriculum using the same resources. But that social interaction, learning how to take turns, how to problem solve, how to play, all of those, are limited online, and they really do have a lot of that opportunity in person. So our schools have found a safe way to do that is we're all learning how to deal with COVID in this time. So I would say that, you just have to choose what's best for your family and for your child, and knowing that that education is so important and those early experiences are just very important to them.
And then
I would simply echo what Jennifer had to say, and I would simply add that if going through this process, if you still find yourself with questions or looking for additional insight, please don't hesitate to reach out. We have buildings filled with eager staff and teachers and administrators that are happy to maybe give some guidance, provide some additional insight. If there's a question you have that hasn't been addressed or answered that might help decide one way or the other, we'll provide as much input as we can.
Amazing. Well, thank you both for joining us this morning and giving us a little bit of background into that kindergarten roundup that's happening on the 20th. Excuse me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.